Today I'm talking to my Leo risings. You all have the zodiac sign of Cancer within your 12th house, which means that the moon is the ruler of your 12th house. Again, we want to take into consideration whether or not you have planets within your 12th house and any aspects that you have. But today I want to talk about just a general overview of what that means to have Cancer, the moon, ruling your 12th house with that underlying Pisces Neptunian energy. So the moon being the ruler of the 12th house with the Pisces undercurrent. I just want to talk about that for a moment because these are two mutable zodiac signs and two very emotional, highly intuitive, watery, flowful energy that is of cycles and movement and can be very confusing depending on maybe the planets that are there or the aspects that are aspecting your 12th house. That can create confusion with especially it being such open, expansive, and a vast amount of spiritual content, an undercurrent of collective, unconscious, mutable, watery, flowing energy. And so there needs to be a lot of trust because the moon is of our body, the moon is of our emotional nature, the moon is of our intuition, the moon is of the unconscious, the subconscious, but there's a comfort there, I believe, with Pisces. For an example, I am a Virgo. I have Virgo ruling my 12th house. Again, mutable energy, but Virgo in mutable energy is trying to find logic and reason, which is very, very hard with spiritual, watery Pisces content. But then you put the mutable energy of Cancer there that is very naturally intuitive, naturally into that space with the Pisces soulful, creative, imaginative energy of Neptune Pisces. And there's a little bit more of a balance. There's a little bit more of a connection there with this energy within this house. And so I believe that the healing and our awakening comes in waves and cycles because there's this watery flow, and the moon is of cycles and Pisces of just expansive, soulful, watery, movable energy, that there's a lot going on. There's a lot flowing within one's experience spiritually and within our healing. We want to be careful with the moon being there because it's of watery and emotional content, and it's so vast and it's so movable that one doesn't fall into addiction too hard because of the healing process. And because it can be so watery that trying to cope and deal with it all, again, the 12th house is of addiction. So I would say that would be the downfall, and just being very careful of having the moon ruling it with so much mutable, watery, and flowing energy. But you are naturally in tune, spiritually, soulfully, creatively, and imaginatively. All right, so celebrity examples. I do have two, Donald Trump, and the other one is Pierce Brosnan. I always try to look for two celebrity examples. Sometimes I'm only getting one. It depends on who I get access to their chart. And then when I look into their bio, trying to find stuff within their bio that is readily available for the public that is in relation to the 12th house. And so Donald Trump is a Leo rising. He does have a 12th house stellium of Venus, Mercury, and Saturn. I just want to touch briefly on the Venus aspect of it, just because there's lots of content to find on him online, unfortunately, in regards to Venus in the 12th house and being a 12th house person. The 12th house Venus is of love triangles and affairs. And so we know Mr. Donald Trump has had a history of that. When you look into the bio on Wikipedia, which is what I did, this is what I found. He was a very difficult child. Didn't really explain much more. I mean, 12th house, but I mean, that could be any house. And there has been 34 felony felony counts for him, accusations of rape, battery, sexual assault, and defamation. There was money that was paid in bail to get off on those counts. And the falsifying records was over a love affair of a adult film actress, and there has been many other horrible acts that is within his bio that is available for everybody online. And so this really does portray 12th house content, Venus in the 12th house, and I'm going to leave Mr. Donald Trump right there. We're going to move on to Mr. Pierce Bronson. Now, Mr. Pierce Bronson has the moon in the 12th house, and being a Leo rising with Cancer and the moon ruling the 12th house, this is really great to look at. The moon is connected to our mother. It's, you know, it really can bring up details about the relationship that you have with your mother. And when we put the moon in the 12th house, there really is a sense of abandonment in some form. Even if the mother was physically present, there is an emotional abandonment because of the moon being of emotions, but it can be physical as well. And yet there is still a tight bond with the mother. There's always this love for the mother in the 12th house. Very different from the sun being in the 12th house, but with the moon being there and the mother, there's still a bond, even though there is abandonment and distance between the relationship between child and mother. And so with Pierce Bronson, he was bonded to his mother by name. His mother's name was Margaret Pierce, and he was named in honor of his mother. And at 4 years old, his mother moved to London to work as a nurse. And so he was raised with his grandparents, and then he was sent to a boarding house, which was ran by women. After his grandparents passed away. And so his mother only came to visit him only once or twice a year. And so we can really see the sense of abandonment with Pierce Bronson and his mother, and being a 12th house moon. And so I will leave it at that. It's really, again, it's very challenging to find research on 12th house content when people have it, because I know there's more, but again, 12th house is hidden things, so not everything is always shown. So until next time.